Have you ever just stopped and looked around and wondered why everything feels so divided? Well, we're about to dig into a really powerful argument that suggests this isn't some accident. It suggests there's a system at play, one that's actively designed to change the way we think, the way we see the world, and especially the way we see each other.
I mean, does that question hit home for you? It probably does for a lot of us, right? You're scrolling through your phone, you turn on the news, and it's just so easy to feel like we're not just disagreeing anymore, we've stopped listening entirely. If you're feeling that, you're definitely not alone. And the analysis we're exploring today says this isn't just some random thing happening, it's being engineered.
So here's the core idea. Modern society, and that means everything from the market to politics to the algorithms that run our lives, is working to dismantle one version of you and replace it with another. A version that's, frankly, a lot easier to control, to manipulate, and to sell things to.
So what exactly does this transformation look like? Well, it's about a fundamental shift. It's about moving us away from being a citizen and pushing us into the neat little box of a political identity. Now, let's really break down what that means.
This right here, this is the central battle. A citizen, on one hand, is someone who asks tough questions, even of their own side. They try to understand other people, they're okay with things being complicated, and they think for themselves. A political identity, on the other hand, is all about defense. It's about reacting with anger, demanding simple answers to complex problems, and above all, following the group. The system, as we're about to see, makes a lot of money and gains a lot of power by pushing us into that second column.
So how does it actually do this? How does it make that shift happen? Well, the analysis breaks it all down into three main pillars. Think of these as the core mechanisms designed to choke out our empathy, to shut down our critical thinking, and to keep us separated in just reacting.
Okay, pillar number one. The system rewards us for being selfish. Now, this isn't about making us evil people or anything like that. It's way more subtle. It's about creating a culture where our focus is constantly pulled away from the community, from the greater good, and put squarely on our own anxious ego, an ego that's always hungry for validation.
And it does this in three key ways. First, what the source calls the tyranny of performance. This is that constant pressure to market a perfect version of yourself online, a success avatar. Then, there's the religion of consumerism, which hammers home the idea that our value comes from what we buy, not who we are. And finally, you have the myth of brutal competition, this idea that life is a zero-sum game, where your neighbor winning means you're losing. It just completely destroys any chance for us to work together. This question from the analysis really cuts right to the heart of it. I mean, think about it. If all your time and all your energy is poured into building your personal brand and competing for status, what's left for anyone else? What's left for community, for empathy, for just understanding people? Not much. That's the whole point.
All right, that brings us to the second pillar, the hate algorithm. This is where technology really kicks into high gear. To manipulate us effectively, the system needs us to stop seeing people with different views as our neighbors. It needs us to see them as enemies.
And the engine for this entire process is engagement. See, digital platforms aren't really designed for you to think. They're designed for you to react. Because the fastest, easiest way to keep you scrolling isn't a thoughtful debate, it's a jolt of raw emotional reaction.
It's a pretty simple and pretty scary feedback loop. You can see it right here. Content that's nuanced and thoughtful, sure, it gets a little bit of engagement. But content that sparks outrage, that makes you afraid, that stuff goes through the roof. The algorithm sees that, learns from it, and just keeps feeding us more and more narratives that paint the other side as stupid, malicious, or even evil. So the system literally turns anger into money. It dehumanizes our opponents, turning them into little digital avatars that are so easy to hate. It's a lot harder to hate a neighbor you see every day. And it encourages projection. It becomes way easier to just blame that other group for all the problems than to do any kind of self-reflection. And as long as you're just pointing fingers, you're not thinking critically. You're being manipulated. And that leads us directly to the third and final pillar, which delivers what the source calls the fatal blow to our critical thinking, the end of complexity. This one attacks our very ability to see the world in anything other than black and white.
Let's be honest. Thinking hard takes effort, but we're just bombarded with so much information all day, every day. Our brains, naturally, start looking for shortcuts. We stop reading deeply and start scrolling headlines. And in that kind of environment, nuance doesn't stand a chance.
So what happens?
Complex reality gets flattened into a simple binary choice. It's either you're with me or you're against me. It's option A or option B with no exceptions. There's no room left for doubt, no space for changing your mind, and certainly no place for forming a unique opinion that doesn't fit neatly into one of two pre-made ideological boxes.
And this creates the consumer politician. Think about it like this. Instead of carefully building your own worldview brick by brick, you just buy one off the shelf. You consume a whole package of beliefs because it makes you feel good, it makes you feel morally superior, and it makes you feel like you're part of a team. It's no different than buying a certain brand of clothes to fit in.
Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds pretty bleak, I know, but the analysis doesn't just leave us there. The path forward, it argues, is to consciously and deliberately reverse these pillars. So let's look at the 3 steps we can take to wake up and reclaim our citizenship.
The good news is we can fight back. It starts by making some conscious trades. First, we trade that feeling of absolute certainty for nuance. Force yourself to look for the 3rd, 4th, or 5th option, not just the 2 you're given. Second, we trade that knee-jerk reactivity for a genuine attempt at understanding. And third, we trade the endless, exhausting chase for status for a real sense of purpose that comes from what we contribute, not what we own.
Now here's a really powerful, practical way to do this. The next time you read something or hear something that makes your blood boil with ideological anger, just stop for 1 second. And before you react, ask yourself this question. Try to figure out the logic and even the pain that might be driving that other person's belief. It's a simple act, but it completely short-circuits the hate algorithm and cracks the door open for real empathy.
And that really is the ultimate challenge here. It's about having the courage to be a citizen first, to be someone who questions, who empathizes, who embraces that messy, complicated reality, before you lock yourself into the simple, rigid, and comforting box of an identity. In the end, it really is a choice between thinking for yourself and being controlled. So, which one will you choose?